Okay, folks, I got a little bit of a sidetrack that I got myself on. So, I'm still not wanting to vary from the Pacific so we can get something done, but I want to do some other stuff on the side. Still terrain look-ish. And let's move this over here. What we got? We've got 7 bases of the palm trees done. And although it looks like a lot, I kind of visually, let's see if I can flip this over without. Yeah, they're not on screen. I need to tilt this a little bit more. There we go. I just moved them off to the side here. So these are all of the bases that I have here for the palms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And I'd like to, kind of my goal to see that I know that I have enough is I'd like to have that center island that I have, and I'd like to have kind of like a runway, a thing on a runway, like the length of the island. So I need palm trees or jungle on both sides of them. Now, doesn't need to be solid palm tree to palm tree, but there needs to be, not more than maybe this much space between them. You can fill that in with lichen. You can put lichen on the end or whatever, on the ends to kind of tie it all together. But I think I'm going to need more than this. I think I'm going to need maybe double this, maybe even more than double this to get it going. So I am going to make some more cork stuff, and we're going to do that. But I talked about having some other items as destroyed vehicles, including that King Kong. So I think I'm going to put together a wreck base that later on we can spray paint it, whatever, and get it going as well. So just for some scatter terrain, and got a couple other things I want to look at. Side quest time. Exactly. So I've got this King Kong, which it looks like I'm missing a sprocket wheel, and it's damaged here, so I'm not too worried about that. This is the piece that came with. I don't know what the hell this one goes to. I'm going to leave that off, but we've got another wheel here that I'm probably going to tear off. We're going to make this knockdown. We're going to put it on a base. We got to use the hot glue gun anyways, so we're going to do that. I also have. I'm probably going to base paint these 2 die-cast vehicles. This scales almost perfectly to 1/72 scale. This is a Corgi, all die-cast. I don't tear it apart or anything. I just paint it. I've done 3 of these. Repaint them. I don't take the decals or anything off. It's damn near robust. And another Sherman M4A3. I think this is the 5th one of these that I have. So this scales almost perfectly to 1/76 scale. So, works good enough for me. So I'm probably going to base coat these 2. I don't think either one of them is going to be for the Marines. I was looking at these figures that I have, and I'd like to paint them because, these classic Airfix figures that we've had for decades, that people don't give them the time of day. Kind of exciting to do because a lot of these are really good looking figures. But I was looking at this. These guys. And I don't know what the hell to use them for. Because on one hand, they're supposed to be U.S. Marines. But on the other hand, we got so many things that are kind of an issue. And the main thing is that the the casting of them is excellent, but the Gators, Marines I think wore the Gators, but I'll be damned if they didn't give a shit what they look like after a couple weeks, or maybe even less than that. So I don't know that I'm going to paint these guys as Marines. This guy doesn't have a helmet cover. This guy doesn't have a helmet cover. Actually, none of these guys have helmet covers. So I think I'm probably going to use these guys as regular U.S. Army and not Marines, now that I think about it. Because that was the whole point in doing Marines, is to do the little helmet cover things. And not a single one of these has them. So you can call them U.S. Marines if you want. I don't think that they're really useful for that. And I looked at them on Plastic Soldier Review, and they had awful things to say about these castings, about the accuracy of the uniforms. Not necessarily the casting. The castings are good. There's nothing wrong with them. So now that I look at them, yeah, they don't have, none of them have camouflage covers. So we won't be using them as Marines. But, like I mentioned before, in this not too specific Pacific, we can use whatever the hell we want. And really, the Philippines in 1944 was pretty much a U.S. Army operation. So, and then last but not least, I have this Stuart. Now, I believe this is the Hasegawa Stuart. This is one of these that I got from, basically somebody didn't want it, and the paint on it is really thick. And I realized, I got a lot of extra parts on this. I mean, there's a lot of stuff wrong with this thing. For instance, the hatch on it is upside down. This might end up being a wreck too. You got a hatch that's upside down, it's glued. Like the inside's on the outside and the outside's on the inside. But I have lots of extra parts from Plastic Soldier Company. Good morning, Marcus. So I built some honeys. Yeah, the gun's upside down too. So what happens when you don't spank your kids? They do stuff like this. Where's the U.S. parts? You could make a bunch of extra. You could make a bunch of extra M3s if you just had different pieces to it. So let's see what we can make out of here. We got holes. Let's see what we have. And this is the extras for the. See, this is all my spare American parts, so I know that I went ahead and took them off the sprues. These are M5s. These are M5 tops. That's an M5. Okay. That's an M5. What? Maybe these are just. No. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I should have extra holes. Why are they not in here? This is an M5, that's an M5. That's an M5. That's an M5. All these are M5s. Where the hell are the M3s? Sounds like I need this bacon. Oh, because they're in the British. That's why. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave these here. They're in the British. That's why. Because yes, technically it's a British kit. German, British. Okay. Got a lot more British parts. Could I hide it with some strategically placed camo netting? Maybe. Maybe, but I don't have any gauze handy. It would be an opportunity to make some of that stuff. I mean, that's always a plus. What do we got here? We got... I'm in between glasses. I'm in between, like, okay. Like, I need to take them off, but then I can't see. Alright, where's my Stewie at? Stewie parts. Okay. To not be confused, I'm going to move the M5A1 the hell out of here. Because I could totally see the bottom suspension being like mixed up. Like, okay, get away. Alright, what do we have here? We have a hole, and we use the hole for this British one, which is the green one. So we use this one. So the blue and the red, we should have 3 sets of this hole, including 3 sets of suspension. What we don't have is this bottom piece because they only came with 1. This is the one that I rewrote all the different things on it. Okay, so we've got, here's a set of suspension. We can use those. I'm going to go ahead and let's and it's pretty close to the same scale. This one actually has I may need to use this as a knocked out honey. And there's all kinds of wrong stuff with it. I mean, you have like a honey here that has the sponson machine guns, which it never had. You know, these instructions are just wrong on so many levels. Okay, we have extra hull machine guns. That's not an issue. And we have an extra turret, we just don't have a main armament, so we'd have to use this main armament. I think that's what it is. You don't have a bottom hull and you don't have a main armament. I just wanted to look and see if this was even an option. What this involved. Okay, same thing. We made them all honeys. Here's a spare turret. Okay, that's from the Humber. Well, shit, the problem by the time I take all this off, I'm going to want to use this as a real tank. So yeah, here's the gun made. Couldn't I just put this damn hatch is on back Oxford, son of a bitch. Let's it's all one hole, right? All right, let's see if we can't. Let's see if we can't do this. 10 extra parts for the Stewards. I'm building the first one for Burma now. We'll be part of the 7th Armor Brigade. Alright, I've heard bad things about Ace. UM models are okay. They fit together really well. Their decals are excellent. Their decals are excellent. They're thin, they go on well. But they're typical Eastern European, which means, you know, they got one drawing with a shitload of lines to it. Unless they're really cheap, I wouldn't recommend them. Because, you know, my time is worth a lot. Now, with that said, I don't mind doing something like playing War Thunder and earning all of my vehicles. And Don will tell me, oh, well, my time's worth a lot. I can't do that without a premium account. And I'm like, I don't have a problem with things taking a long time to do something, as long as you're not being tortured or, say, making up for somebody else's shortcomings. Like, for instance, I don't want to put a model together that's a nightmare because it's going to take forever and you're going to be fighting it the whole way. Like, if it's like a long journey, okay, it's a long journey. But if it's a long journey in the front of a cab and a small pickup truck with a wildcat that has rabies, I don't want to take, you know, I don't want to do that. You know, there's very different between taking something that, you know, it's just going to take a long time to paint something or whatever. You know, like the palm trees things. I mean, they take a while to do, but none of it is torturous. You know, and at the end of the day, you have a win. If you're putting together some stuff that's like, you know, you have to fight and get it to fit and everything, and it's like, that's not worth my time. You know, you basically, you know, I don't know if that makes any sense, but you saw Dave at Pulp Alley had a few of them. I think he based them, so it might be due to fragility. He did say it was an experience building. I've heard really bad things about Ace. Yeah, I've got Unimodel. I got a Panzer 3H, I think, that I built, and it went together just fine. I would have bought their M10s, but they're just too expensive. You know, they're like 20. You know, they're like $22 plus shipping each. Like just like, you know, and then you have to put them all together. You know, which, you know, I don't mind putting them together. I mean, I like. I'd rather spend most of my time building something than putting it together. If you're going to give me a choice. Yeah, the problem is going to be the main armament here. I could make one of these, but then I don't have the main armament for this one. But, and I'm going to need the hull. So I'm going to have to tear this hull out. Where's my X-Acto knife? Let's see if I can remove that hatch. Well, here's a question. Will one of these other hatch... Nope, the turret's different. The turret's completely different. Alright. I know what I'm going to do. I could just make it a knocked out honey. Poor guys. Poor honeys haven't even made it on the scene. We're already talking about casualties for those little guys. You know, I'm not going to get bogged down in this right now. I just wanted to kind of... You know, I don't mind doing a vehicle, but I want to do a vehicle that has to do with this specific thing, because I don't want to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, because then you'll... I'm never going to have an airfield or something done. said, I'm going to make a base for that. Do I have a base that already works? No. I got many of them cut out. And let's fire up the hot glue gun while we're thinking about it. It's going to take a little bit of time. Man, this thing, I really enjoy hot glue gun work. It's also new to me. It's still exciting because I haven't done much of it. So we're going to fire that up. Let's see what we got for bases here. And the only reason against doing this is this is a fine piece of track. And I may need this piece of track for something else. Same thing, yeah. Seems like this is thinner than the regular vehicle bases. But that's just an optical delusion, because it isn't. You got many of them. It could certainly be one that's ugly. Oh, we gotta do something really important before we get carried away. We don't cut on this thing. This is just for looks. Yeah, this is one I got for work, and it looks like I already had some epoxy or some shit on it. Clippers are here. How does the Hasegawa compare to the PSC? They're almost exact. Well, I put it away now. They're almost exactly the same. The PSC I think is a little bit bigger, but the Hasegawa stuff, is all over the place. Some Hasegawa stuff is smaller, some Hasegawa stuff is bigger. Let me put this, let me put the front of this thing. I don't know, I mean, it's got like the bottom of this is like the honey, and the top of it is the honey. But the hatch is, so I could replace the gun, I could replace the whole turret, but then I still have the bottom of the thing. It's like, I don't know what to do about it. I certainly don't want to cogitate about it for, half of a fucking day. All right, this doesn't have to be perfect. Something like that. My wastebasket's all the way over here. I don't care that it's got that extra stuff on there. Because we're working with a hot glue gun, so we might as well hot glue gun this joker down. guess we'll go narrower then. I guess we'll go, this is the side that we'll have to do. Let's cut it down. At the 3/4. So I got a comment on one of the videos that I did, the one that I went to that store in Canada. And it seems like it's the owner that commented on it. Of course, that was several years ago. And he basically said that, hey, thanks for coming by the store, but unfortunately for you, we sold all our stock to somebody else. Maybe unfortunately for me. It took me 52 years to get to Canada. I don't think I'll be going to Calgary anytime soon. Not that I had a bad experience, but another place bites the dust from carrying 20mm stuff. I'm not surprised, you know. There's just a handful of us that even do it that aren't in the UK. I said if I was not allowed to do 20mm, I'd do 15s. I'm not doing 28s. They're too big. They're too expensive. They take up too much space. And taking up too much space isn't that big of a deal until you realize, okay, you gotta store all this stuff, and the garage isn't an option. I'm not storing this stuff in the garage. We're spending way too much time creating this, trying to do a good job with it for Mother Nature to just destroy it, warp it, or worse. It's too hot in this state. It's too hot in Virginia too. Unless you live in, land of the massholes or something like that, your garage is going to be really, going to be real hot. Land of the massholes, yeah. All right, now. Yeah, this poor thing. I'm going to remove this. That way we can reach things. Okay? I think I just glue it like that. And just work around everything else. This really almost needs the track just to come off its thing. I think we can work with that. I think we can work with that type of thing. All right, how's this thing fired up yet? Yeah, we'll spray this. That'll give us a chance to do a vehicle, but it's still terrain. Yep. Only complaint about this is I wish the cord was a little longer. I'll make this wrapped up like this. Let's do this. We've had good success using this as super glue. didn't know I was gonna make finger art here. Yeah, but I think those U.S. Marines, I'm gonna use them as U.S. Army. Not that I'm in a hurry for any Marines or anything. I'm just, I'm just kind of trying to think ahead now. Without drilling through this and using wire that I'll then have to hide, which, I may do that. That might actually work. So I can kind of crimp this together like this, and then you cover it in goop so you can't see it. You get the front of this track like all like thrown like, I like that. I like that idea. I like that. I like that. And then it'll, have the right look with a minimum of effort. Okay, so we know where our wire is. ¿Dónde está? There it is. And the wire is right here. And what were we using to cut the wire? I think this stuff right here. Actually, I think I threw some of it away. I don't even think about it. I had a couple little spare pieces. I'm like, I'm never going to use this for anything. Famous last words. Let me just look through here my garbage. This is pretty clean garbage as far as garbage goes. Nah, I'm not going to make a mess on the floor. We'll just do this. Where's the end of this? And if we can't find it, we'll create a new end. Just something like this. Something like that. Just a little piece of wire. Let's put the wire back where we found it. The instructions back where we found them. All right, so we're going to take a point about here. And hopefully these tracks aren't very brittle. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Okay. Oh, you're going to be difficult, are we? These self-healing things. going. Just get it going and then move your finger out of the way so you don't put it through your finger. Let's do the far one that's harder to reach first. All right. And then okay. Now, the problem with the fat-fingered clan here tweezers. And this will allow me to, I might even put a cargo netting on here. I don't know if I got any gauze. I bet we have some gauze somewhere. And practice putting some of the gauze on one of the areas here. Again, the problem with doing gauze is really only one, and that is you're gonna have to wait for the for the PVA to dry. He wrote this. Just say sorry about that. Exactly. I really wanted to say is, well, I don't care what happens. I'm not going back to your store because you got a couple guys there that can't give people bags. The solution is, do you want a bag? Yes. Okay, well, we'll have to charge you for it. Like, I get it. Everything costs money, right? But not like, we're not allowed to have bags in this country. Like, hey, and I'm one of those people. I don't like grocery store shopping and not bringing my own bags because those flimsy plastic bags, I freaking hate those things. They're a pain to deal with. Even if they disappear and they go right back into the earth as soon as you're done with them, I don't want to deal with them. They're a pain in the ass. All right, we're going to have to cover this in mud because this isn't going to taper down. Well, maybe it will. Maybe it will taper down to nothing. Maybe we can get it to taper down to nothing, and then you won't see that wire in between it. I don't know that I want it to be tapered to nothing. Well, we'll see. Let's just see how this turns out. So, like for instance, I have some Unimodel. Is it Unimodel, or it's there's Skiff, actually, which is either Russian or Ukrainian T26s. And they're okay, except they've got these photo etch parts that you have to use because it's like fenders and stuff like that. And they're damn near impossible to glue because you're trying to glue the side of a hull and a photo etch part that goes like this, that goes 90 degrees, and say this is the fender and it's 90 degrees. And there's nothing for it to catch. There's no ledge or anything. So, like, how the hell is that going to keep, it's like, that's the kind of stuff that, talking about, other manufacturers that are just like, man, why do I got to be tortured by this? That's the problem that I have with photo etch, is that it's a pain in the ass to glue, especially when you're trying to do it at really acute angles. Oh, isn't that acute? No, it's not. Okay, something like this. Okay. So it's been detracked. They blew this sprocket wheel to Kingdom Come. Something happened, and they just abandoned this thing. And then we'll glue this separately. So it's just going to be sitting like so. All right. Now we'll hot glue gun this thing down, which, by the way, the hot glue gun is working just fine for attaching these things to bases. And it's a lot less of a mess than epoxy. Now over on this end, it could be just like this. Okay. I mean, it's missing a rib up here. You know, if this thing isn't built, I could see doing it for spare parts, but I'm gonna have to fight so much stuff on there. This will end up looking great in the end. And yeah, I think it might be a good idea to try it with, a piece of gauze. I haven't done anything with gauze. The next thing you know, I'm gonna want to gauze everything up. I'm gonna be doing British tanks with all the, what do they call that stuff? Hessian. Not too many people do late war British stuff. I'm talking about, post Market Garden. Okay. So that's ready to rumble. When I goop these, the next group of palms, I'm going to go ahead and goop this base too, so it'll be ready as well. Okay. One of my friends in Virginia had a bolt action starter set. My first time seeing the figures up close. Impressive detail, but I'm not going there. I'm curious about PSC's new 3D printed 20mm figures. Yeah, the bolt action scale, 28mm, is getting really close to 1/35 scale. And again, I want to play in actual-ish type scale, so I don't really want to condense my view of the battlefield that much more. Although I was reading an account recently about, I believe it's called Operation Diadem, and that's the final push to break through Casino. And the British at one point, I don't remember, I want to say it's on the eastern side of Casino, but anyway, so they break out and they lead with an armor division, and the narrator is saying that it wasn't a good idea because like visibility was frequently under 100 feet. Like 100 feet. Now you're speaking my language, right? Because that's 100 feet is 100 feet is what, 30 meters. 30 meters is 30 centimeters. That's 15 inches. So you got line of sights that are like this. Like, that's freaking ideal. So, I mean, 8 feet is what, 300 meters or something like that. My table's like 300 meters long, which is like, point blank range, but there's a big difference between, 30 meters and 300 meters. The PSC recently came up with some figures, and I was not happy with what they look like. Uh-oh. Oh my God, these guys are just flooding. A week ago I was asking on my airbrush, I had gotten the Iwata airbrush thing, the 10-foot cable, and I realized that the airbrush attachment that came with it is not the same as the one that goes on the compressor. Because the compressor doesn't have a standard attachment. It's a master's airbrush compressor, and it has the same size out as it does same size into the airbrush. And I was surprised. So I'm like, all right, what do I got to buy to retrofit it? And, so I asked on one of the airbrush phase, and everybody has a different opinion, get a thing, but get a converter, which is easy enough to do, but I'm throwing more money at a $21 thing. So what I ended up doing is I'm going to return that. I bought the Masters airbrush hose that was half the price of the Iwata one. So instead of paying, $22 for it, plus whatever the adapter is going to cost, I just decided to order the Masters length hose that I wanted, which is the same length of both, that costs half as much as the Iwata one, and then return the Iwata one, which is what I should have done, but it's just a hose. I mean, I'm already using the one that comes with it. What did Jeffrey send me here? Oh, I think I know what this is. And again, unfortunately, this is another manufacturer that's in the frickin' UK. Yeah, I know these Matildas look great. And they come with decals. Those sons of bitches. No, these are great. The problem is this shipping would just eat me alive. Yeah, you get 4 Matilda. Yeah, no, this is freaking awesome. I saw these. Hopefully these guys do well. What's the name of this company? Tabletop Workshop. I hope they do other stuff. They better not come up with a A13. That's all I'm saying. I got that thing covered. I got 2 Matildas, and I don't have them done. We'll go back to the desert soon enough. What was I was looking something up. I forgot what the hell it is. I'm sure we'll think about it in a second. All right, let's be diligent. Let's take all this stuff out of the way. We don't need this. We don't need this. Let's go ahead and bring the cork out here. It's the thing I'm the worst about it. Put your things away when you pull them out so you don't have a freaking mess on your hands. All right. Yeah, this is the last weekend of the daughter's here. She's got to go back to college. So we spent a fair amount of time yesterday hanging out with her, which, not a complaint by any stretch of the imagination, but okay. All right, what do we want to do with this? I think I want to do. How much spares do I have? Can I get 3 out of this? So in other words, can I get 3 thin ones? Can I get 2 thin ones and then use 1 for the growth on it? I'm going to try to give it a shot. This is about, I better put my glasses on here. I mean, the one in the middle can be thinner. Yeah, I think I can do that. We're going to take This will be one length. And they don't have to be completely straight. Good thing. And this will be the other one. And then this will be the spares in the middle. Alright, so we're going to cut one of these. Now, what do we got here? Yeah, I got some old plastic figures that I got from Don that he didn't want anymore. And I don't know what they are. They're some kind of German, I want to say they're German engineers or something like that. I wish there was those paratroopers. But if there's those paratroopers, I still wouldn't paint them. I'm not getting into Italy. As much as I love painting our little house, and I'll tell you what, if I had a bunch of houses to do right now, that's exactly what I would do today. We're going to find out if we can make this warp like Jeffrey says it does. If it warps, we'll have to modify it and make two pieces, but I'd rather it just be one piece. Alright, here's the footprint of one of them. Okay, this one's a little wider, okay. Like those shoe inserts you put in there for, what is Dr. Scholl's shoe inserts? Dr. Scholl's MD. Okay. Now, yeah, that way you can have, this is another 3 feet of jungle, so to speak, on one side. This is not necessarily the edge of it. The edge of it might actually be out here. But that at least takes up most of it, and you could put the lichen and stuff in there. I mean, so. Okay, and then we've got one, nope, we still have more than one pack of cork. Shit. Let's do this again. Just live life on the edge. specifically wanted it off shaped like that. I'll use that one for one and use this one for the other. All right. We got 1, 2. Let's make 2 more. I don't know if you could buy this any cheaper online. I don't think it's that expensive. You get a lot out of it. $7 out of it. I don't think this thing is warped really at all because I'm layering it on. It's not like I think if it was like one thickness, yeah, I'd warp pretty badly, but so far so good. I'm doing something right, I guess. It's completely freaking flat. And this is a heck of a lot quicker than, say, making it out of MDF, having to sand it, where's a mess, and having to, pre-treat it on both sides. And like I said, I feel like when there's all these little granules of cork here, I don't feel like it's, like drying on your skin, as opposed to like if this was like MDF powders or something like that. It's a really clean, I really like working with this stuff. Because the prices of cork are just all over the place. Sometimes you could find a good price on it, and sometimes it's really expensive. I'm probably going to use this for hedgerows. Whenever I redo the hedgerows, I'm probably going to use this as the base part for the hedgerows. The only thing I don't like about this is cutting the edge. But putting in a new X-Acto blade helps a lot. But yeah, it's one of those things that I don't care that it takes a while to do, as long as the end result is like what you want. Okay. And then this one, we're going to make this one slightly teardrop shaped. So we're going to come out in here, round that out. And my wife was telling me, I don't know where you're going to store this stuff. So I don't know where I'm going to store it either, but I'll figure it out. But if we're going to do this, we need to get a move on so that we can goop it, because that's unfortunately the part that really takes a long time. Like, all right, I'm ready to move on. I mean, the hot glue gun is a win, because it's like, okay, put it together. All right, let's keep going. Shaped like, what's the name of that thing? Well, fuck. We'll pick Marcus's brain. Shaped like Shmoo. Remember Shmoo? I didn't watch those things. That was one of those. There was 3 cartoons that were all takeoffs of. You could tell they were definitely the same people that made Scooby-Doo. You had Scooby-Doo, the Shmoo thing, and then you had Jabberjaw. Where you had one creature that was a creature. In the case of Scooby-Doo, was the dog. Shmoo was that ghost-looking thing. I don't remember what exactly he did, but I just remember that. Oh, and Captain Caveman was the same thing. Although I don't know, were there kids with that one? Were there a set of adolescents with it? Maybe. But Jabberjaw definitely had four other kids or whatever. Four other kids and then the oddball, you know? So, yeah. Shmoo shaped. You know what I'm talking about. Don't play stupid. More of a Scooby fan. You know which one I like? I actually like the Laugh Olympics one. I didn't love any of that stuff. It was just like, okay, I'm a kid. I want to watch cartoons. That's the only thing on. That's what you watch. I prefer Johnny Quest, honestly. But one of the shows I have fond memories of watching it with my dad. Johnny Quest, the original one. I think they redid it or something like the other day. You know. All right, I got to stop before I get the Johnny Quest song stuck in my head. I haven't seen that in 30 years. Oh, you know what I found? I'm trying to keep your pants on. I had this a long time ago. And I found it. I knew I had it. And I'm like, this would be useful. I just don't know what I'm going to find useful. How I'm going to work it in. One of these Matchbox sets that I have, I don't remember which one. They sometimes come with figures in them. And in this figure, there's this guy. And it looks like, and I have had to put a name on him. I'd call him like an Atlantean. And he's a little bit bigger than 20 millimeter. He'd make a decent statue. But I don't want to stick him, on the Pacific Island because, But he's got a trident on him. I just saved him. I didn't throw him away. I'm like, it's soft plastic. It'd, work for a decent statue, I guess, of something. That's funny that the palm ones that I have, the ones that I like the most, are the ones that have the rocky outcropping. They look really good. I don't know. It just has like some personality there. So, and we still haven't done the grass on it. I'm probably gonna have to paint some figures and then do the grass on the figures and then be happy with that and then make the same style for the palms. I think that's how I'm gonna go about it. Yeah, I don't know what to do with him, but if this was a make-believe land, he totally would be, Yeah, he's not done in the style of anything of Southeast Asia, so that doesn't work. It's not like a, Easter Island looking dude or whatever. This isn't Tales of the Golden Monkey Island. Remember that show? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the edge. Oh yeah, this is wunderbar. This is what you do. Just get off my wallet and just use a new blade. I mean, I only got a pack of 120 freaking blades, and this doles them out. So there's a couple of things that I learned that actually work really well. Making the mix of this matte medium and then using that to glue all the rocks. When I came back this last batch, none of the rocks came off. I mean, they were on really well. Unfortunately, it's another thing that you have to wait until the goop dries and then add that, and it's something else that you has to wait overnight. So You know, if you were just working on this, it'd be a pain in the ass because it's like all ahead stop. So, anyways, I was reading some of the history there of those guys you were painting, Marcus, those Goumiers. Man, those guys are hard. I mean, they were not nice folks. They had a big problem in Italy where they were just having their way with the local ladies, and the U.S. Army was having to, or the authorities were having to issues having to deal with that. This is how we need to do it. There we go. Let's see. I like that Buddha statue you did. Well, I would have done it a little differently. I would have made it out of stone, and then I could like add some greenish to it. So that guy that I liked on YouTube for the Pacific Terrain did a video on making city rubble, and he used ground up cork, used a coffee grinder, looked good. Huh. I don't know. It depends on the rubble. I mean, I don't know if I don't know that I'm going to use a coffee grinder. Um, the problem with all this loose cork is it's extremely bouncy. Cork is really bouncy, so I could totally see it having one place, and I know I'm gonna have to get more rubble, and I just can't believe that stuff is so expensive so difficult to find. It can be expensive too, but man, the brick thing worked really well. Yeah, that guy's got really good looking. I like that his stands. I don't play his. I was watching something he was doing the other day about crossfire or something, and like crossfire is totally not something I want to get into. But his bases look really good for his infantry and stuff. He's got all the data and stuff on them. Okay, well this was a hell of a lot quicker. All right, let's find a sandpaper and start making a mess. Okay. Next one. Let's start this one correctly and just do it from here. Yeah, the internet's great, man. You can get really good ideas from. You could get like open your mind up to doing things that I'll occasionally see things and I'm like, I would have never thought about doing that. I can't have all the good ideas, damn it. Man, what's his name? Ron's back and forth on here's this model of the Stug. Let me update it. Now I got a new version of it. I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't order any of those yet. I'd be like, man, did I get the you order them and like, oh crap, you made another version. Would I have preferred to just wait and get that one instead? Or I'm nowhere near getting any more vehicles for that matter. And it's not that I don't want any. It's just that I got enough stuff I'm working on. By the way, that Japanese tank I was talking about is a Type 3 Ho. I can't remember what. Some kind of Ho. It's Honu, Honiki, Ho. Whatchamacallit makes one of them. Warlord makes one of them. Let's see. Here? Web store? I know, you're going to ask me if I'm in the US or not. Bolt action Nippon. Chinu. The Chinu is the one. That's a good looking tank. A Chinu is a good looking tank. I like that rising sun on it too. Indeed, Jeffrey was right. What was he right about? Not saying he wasn't right. I'm like, what? So talking about things that I don't want to spend a ton of time on. I don't want to spend a ton of time making my own mix for goop or making my own mix for a wash or something like that. Like, I don't mind subbing that out. I just go to the store, go on Amazon, order it. It all consistently comes out the same. Yes, it's probably not the most price efficient thing, but look, I use craft paint when I can. So you save money there. I can't save money on everything. And then I have somewhere to store that. You know, this goop, the that I'm using now, the Vallejo grape pumice, has a really nice. Uh, it has a really nice amount of detail. The way it pops, has a nice amount of grit. When I was first doing the DVA stands, I was making my own stuff with PVA and sand, and I did 2 or 3 armies that way before I found the Liquitech stuff. And then I'm like, let's just do this other thing because I gotta have somewhere to store some of this stuff, and like I can't cut every corner. The Goumier. Did I miss it? Let's see. Is it one of those that didn't come through? I don't see it here. So let me go way back. It's not coming through here, and I don't have anything blocked. Let me go to top chat, go back, go to live chat again. It didn't come through here. It's not on the feed. Actually, I don't have any comments from him on the feed. And why that is, I have no idea. Maybe it didn't want me to say something nasty about people that were from North Africa that were, barbarians. Hey, I didn't ask him to be. There's barbarians in Europe too, I'm just reading from the book. Barbaric. Oh, it was older sessions. Okay. Now I don't know what he said about, but yeah, I was reading about those guys recently, and I guess apparently the Americans called them gooms for short. Every army's got people that are less than desirable. But I'm wondering, one of the main reasons why the Japanese have such a bad reputation about doing stuff like that is I wonder if, they were treated so badly, their own troops were treated so badly by their own officers. I wonder if it isn't just like payback, like, we went through all this shit, I'm going to take it out on you kind of thing. I had a depraved drill sergeant, and I'm not going to take any prisoners when it's time to take prisoners. I'm sure it had some kind of contribution to it. But this make-believe island, this will allow me to do, Japanese aircraft and put one on the ground. And it could be a scenario that revolves around, something with a Japanese aircraft. If you go and you look at something like that, be like, oh, that never happened in the Philippines or whatever. It's like, well, okay, you don't, it's a missed opportunity to paint a Japanese aircraft, which I've never built one of. But we got to finish the P-40 first. But the P-40, that's what the airfield's for, the P-40. It's going to be a centerpiece in that. Knock it out or something before it can do its thing. And again, it can be make-believe. You don't have to the Marines never used a P-40. Well, why is it on the ground? Well, I don't know. Don't fucking worry about it. It's not like I'm using some plane from 1946. I wish somebody had, speaking of you're talking about your Chinese for Burma, I wish somebody had some decent pictures of those guys that Valor, I just got to write down their name and put it here on a sticky note. Battle Valor Games or whatever the hell they are. They've got those, they make those Chinese figures. They make a fair number of them. I wonder what they look like up close. Heading off to a grocery run. Have a good day. All right, man. Cutting off soldiers' ears. Yeah, they were. That's that's like things the Gurkhas did at parties to to win favors too. Just over here collecting ears. Scalps. I think they would collect scalps also. And other people that would serve with them would be like, "What's that stench?" Oh shit, you know. No, this is a heck of a lot quicker than doing it another way. I just cleaned this area yesterday. Shit happens. So I think after I'm done with this group of palms, we're done with palms for a while. I think I should be able to make all that stuff work. I'll have 11 stands of palm trees. And like I said, that the island, my kitchen island, is like it's the perfect shape for like a runway. They got a reward for each left ear. Oh, sorry, we're not paying you. That's the right one. Would they eat them? Did they put them in soup? Italian ear soup. And then we'll have to move the stuff base. I'm using that side like for my computer table. So when I'm on the computer, I'm over there, and that one works a lot better for it because I can't adjust the height of this table. This table, well, I can, but it's difficult. It's not just crank it up, crank it down kind of thing. Alright, so let me look at something. I've got the ones that have the outcropping. That one has it in the middle. The other one has it on the edge. So that's 2 of the 7 have them. Okay. Well, one of these 4 will have it as well. Just have nice having something else that's. So I was surprised I wasn't able to find a little Buddhist type pendant or whatever in a store. You can't find shit in stores anymore. I don't want to order it. And there's so many of them that are the wrong style. And this is the next part. I vacuumed this, but all the girls are asleep, so we don't want to do that. All right. Hot glue gun time. Now we got lots of extra parts here. Plus I have one that was left over here from previously. Plus I got some extra scraps. I just didn't feel like throwing them away. All right. And I like this, like pre-assembling it before I put it on here. It's like, this has actually been a lot of fun doing this. You know, just kind of winging everything, you know, like. But what I'm really surprised about this cork is how heavy it is. Like, because you think, cork doesn't weigh anything, right? It's hollow. Yeah, not really. Not really. Yeah, we like that. Hello. What's going on here? Perfectly imperfect. I am gonna put a center ridge across here. I really enjoy doing this. It's just kind of like, let's make it grow a little bit over here. I was reading the instructions of the goop, and it says, yeah, let dry 2 hours. I said, yeah, maybe if you put it on like wafer thin, but it's actually pretty thick on this. And there might be a cheaper material to use, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with using what I have already. And it's basically like dry immediately. What's not to like about that? Okay, we need to keep that out. Or in a second, I'm gonna be able to put it down. I can't put it down. The one thing I don't have to be frugal about is use of this hot glue. pretty liberal with it. I picked one of these up the other day when I was airbrushing. I'm like, oh man, it's flexible. So you don't think that it's flexible. I mean, we'll probably put it on a little bit of a hill for one, but I don't think we'll have any need for that. But all right. You know, I want to do right here. No, right here. Let's make this end. Let's make a big crag here. I don't know if crag's what I want to say, but let's get crazy. Let's give this thing a lot of personality here. Not something that big, maybe something like that. I like the fact that it's all the same thickness. So you kind of stack it up and not have to worry about it fitting together. It's kind of like Legos. Let's make this whole side here. Just do something different. There you go. And we're not going to put a palm tree coming out of it or whatever. It's just an annoying place. mine has a little bit of an overhang. One, two, three, four. Let's go up to like 6. Let's go up to like level 6 on this thing. Shit, maybe even a 7. Maybe even a 7. No, really freaking enjoying this. Really enjoying this. Now, that's why we do this. That's why we do this kind of stuff. So it sets you up to have a good positive day. Oh, look at this. We're out of ammo. Put one in the ready rack. That looks good. All right, let me go grab some purple drink. I'll be right back. Certainly somebody's got to make something like, well, let's see. One second, MDF. Like ships or something like that. Certainly somebody's got to make. I know they make these landing craft. I don't necessarily mean like, oh my god, this looks great. Paint that many figures and jam them in there. No, not for that. I'm just talking about like a little, like a civilian type boat or something. Not a sampan, but like a small tramp steamer, something or another. Obviously condensed sized. Sarissa. Yeah, something like this. Oh, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible design. We're making a vessel and we're going to put the smokestack in front of the control, in front of the bridge. You better have some good windshield wipers on those front windows. Holy soot cart covered. Oh, this is good. TT Combat Cargo Ship. Never heard of TT Combat. I bet all this stuff's 28 millimeter. It doesn't even tell you what scale it is. Like, yeah, you just assume it's 28 millimeter. Man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Red Star Railway Line. I don't mind the way MDF stuff looks. Sometimes it's, it can be hokey. Mm, this is useful. Water storage tanks. That's useful. I bet all this shit is. Free shipping outside the UK. Of course it's the UK. Everything that looks interesting comes out of the United Kingdom. Yeah, yeah. I would scratch build it other than the hull. I don't want to try to bend something. It wouldn't have to be it wouldn't have to be bigger than like this. Like this length. It could be a condensed looking thing. Now I'm building a freaking tanker, but just something that's like a little, say like a shrimp boat that's somewhere on a dock, and you've got that kind of shit, and this, yeah, the TT Combat stuff looks good. You could definitely enhance it. definitely. Well, that's why I want to make a make-believe Pacific setting, so I can do things like that. All right, where's my reload? All right, where's the next piece up? Here? And half the fun of that stuff is just finding it on the internet and have it, lubricate ideas in your mind. And maybe that's as far as you take it. But it's, neat to consider all those things. Oh, yeah, some outcropping. There's going to be some rat bastards up there just causing hell and make themselves take fire from a what'll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6. It's really not that tall. It's only twice as tall as a man at most. Seems like it's really tall, but okay, that's on there nicely. Yeah, I've never heard of TT Combat, whatever they are. So food for thought. Of course, it comes from the UK. Why would it come from anything else? My dad had this. I want to say it's a Lindbergh, or who knows who the hell makes it. But it was a tugboat. It's about like 1/108 scale. Something like that. Like it can be a non-combat vessel. Just objective crap. Oh, that's good. And I don't mind the way that, for some reason, I don't mind the way that some of those MDF things look. Even though it looks a little too straight edged, maybe. I kind of like the way a lot of those things look. All right. Now we got to build up the rest of it over here. Not obviously not to this level, but it's only twice as tall as a person. So what? 12 feet tall. That's not. And like I said, this isn't the only area that's jungle. There could be jungle all along it. Just this will give you the. It's covered in vines. I was watching there's a video. I think it was a video or it was a website where somebody had said how to make jungle trees. I was like, involved like making vines and sculpting them, and I'm like, oh my god, that would take forever. I mean, if you got to make like one cool tree or something like that, or a handful, it might be all right. But if you got to make like a bunch, like, well, you're gonna be there a while. All right, this stuff is, I think, too small to continue messing with it for the main course, so to speak. think we do one there. Not like that. I wonder if the virtual armchair general would print his ship fittings in 1/72nd. He'd be needed to spruce up an MDF model. Better buy your stuff from UK before the 29th. Demi Minis $800 limit removed. Man, those Stan Johansson, he's got a lot of good stuff. He just passed away in the last month. He was a super nice guy. Super nice guy. It's funny, when I first met him, I'm like, man, this guy's an asshole. But he's got that New York demeanor, which is, not exactly, very warm and fuzzy. But he's a super nice guy. Had a really good attitude. Very welcoming to new players. And yeah, I have some of his figures. I think they're really good. They have a unique look. I just happen to like that unique look. But yeah, he just passed away in the last couple weeks. Hey, wasn't that old? Maybe 76? I mean, I don't know how it is in the UK. 76 is too young to be dying, you know. Dying's like, that's for the 90s. And nobody should be dying in their 80s either. It's like, this is the 21st century. I mean, unless you got, the evil C thing, that can take anybody. Man, this is heavy. This is heavy. All right, let's do that right there. And maybe that. God, this is a lot of fun. Because I'm kind of winging it too. And I enjoy winging things. I mean, it's not like it turns out badly or anything. Yeah. Now, see, having done this before, first I was like, man, it's going to look really stepped. It's going to look like some kind of a destroyed Aztec temple. I'm like, no, it won't. No, we've done our share. We know we know what we're doing now. We're going to get the results we're looking for. Now, I still haven't been able to find out who the hell that tramp steamer crew makes. I also haven't looked for it either. And honestly, when I came across it, I wasn't even looking for that. It was just one of those, this is really cool, I used to be a lot better about finding things because I'd bookmark things, but since most of my surfing involves on the phone, and I'm of that age where I don't want to learn new shit. I don't know how to book things on my phone and find them. I know how to bookmark them. Like, okay, where the fuck is a bookmark on the phone? It's not as easy on the computer, but I don't surf with a computer, really. Keeps you from getting some kind of stupid redirect virus or something like that. It's lurking in a hosting site. I'm not even talking about going places that are inappropriate. I'm just talking about, there's nefarious fucks out there. Basswood. It was not going to make a hole out of it. It's not worth my time. I could build everything other than the hole. And I want it to be flat. So MDF is like perfect for that. It doesn't even have to be. It's not even a fast boat. It could just be like, a barge. I just thought it'd be kind of fun. You have this Pacific Island. You got like a port. A little dock or something. Nothing too extravagant. Be something, just something cool to do. Demi minis. I don't know what that means. Probably like the minimum. I'm not ordering anything before 29th. The worst thing I can do at this point is order things and not need them. That's like the biggest sin of all. I'll pay triple what it is, but I'll get things when I need them and then use them at that point. And I got lots of stuff to work on. It's not like I need anything. I suspect that all of this stuff is all TT Combat is all 28 millimeter. It doesn't say the scale, so it's got to be 28 mil. Oh, got a lot of Asian, Japanese stuff. Where's our About Us? No dice. So, it's got to be. Last chance to buy. No, no FOMO for me. Okay, so they have 15 millimeter stuff that actually says 15 millimeter on it. Large sunken buildings. Well, that is unique. That is freaking unique. That is a unique concept. Oh, they even give you a little spinner thing on it. That's thinking outside the box. Pavlov's house. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play Pavlov's house in the middle of a freaking opening. Like it's all like no. Desert monuments. There's a lot of like food for thought here. Well, sometimes things can be made out of MDF, and they're a little too Minecraft-ish, you know. Yeah, I'm not saying some of this stuff wouldn't work for 20 millimeter, but you'd have to like look at it in person. Okay. Hovels do a few landing crap, but I can't find any stateside places with ships of 20 millimeter. That's TT Combat. It gives me some. If I found it, I wouldn't order it right now. Just something to be thinking on down the road. Um, maybe this here, and we're good with this one. I'm allergic to cork. Oh shit. Okay. I think this one's done. this looks like it's really big, but it's not that big. Let's use one of my Britishers that's here. It's not that big. It's not that impressive. It's really not that impressive. And you take something like put a Sherman next to it, it's like, what? It's not that tall, you know. I was looking at something, and this is one of these things that, oh shit, I just saw something else. I was looking at this, and I just have these, I don't know what the hell came in here, but it's a styrofoam, and I use it to stick the trees, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this could be like some German bunker or whatever that is all like destroyed and stuff like that. Like that could be handy. And then I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh shit, there's a tunnel to put a car in. I'm like, sons of bitches, simmer down. Totally. I could totally see using this for something, putting a 20 millimeter in here or something. No, we might have to save this. So, you know, and again, free. You know, free, no additional cost. Or, you know, Japanese, doesn't have to be, you know, doesn't have to be Nazi stuff. Nazis just make the best enemies. I mean, it's just, you know, the perfect enemy. Oh wait, it's Sarissa. I thought it might have been a Mexican company. Orale, miniatures. Yeah, the stuff that I plan on using for hedgerows is this material right here. And unfortunately, I haven't found it in black. Now, this is 20 years old, so they probably make other stuff. But this stuff's called Grip-Rite. And I guess they make these handles that attach to this somehow. And all this is, you know, this material that you can spread the F out and wear your fingers out doing it. And then the stuff I had, I sprayed it black. And then, you know, added some of the woodland scenics. Tough, but you know, you got to get something to be able to pull, like a pair of tweezers to pull this out, because it can expand quite a bit. You know. And then you put this on a hedgerow. You know, you put this on a stand, and maybe even build it up. And then, you know, do the top of it is all like weird shape, but because I didn't do all that stuff with the ones I have, and they look okay. But we're on a different level now. We're on a level where we can see examples of things that are really cool on the internet and be motivated by it. When I built those in the mid '90s, there was no such thing. Everybody was more on their own than they are now. Now you're like, man, that guy's got something cool. Let me try to dissect how he did that. Okay. I don't really care if one side's flat because we can use all these little pieces to make it unflat. Oh, we got a wedge here? No problem. We got wedgy pieces. I actually went to the used bookstore, the place where I got a credit, and there was a gamer's guide to Hidden and Dangerous 2, which I don't know that I've ever played it. I know I played the first one. I don't know that I played the second one. This was one of those games that I don't think ever ran well, which is a shame. And I don't remember if I ever played the second one, but it had all these maps and stuff on it. Of like, and I said, oh, that might be kind of interesting to. But then you just have to. Sometimes you gotta trust your own judgment and just go and roll with it. I go, why don't you just come up with stuff on your own? It's not that difficult. Somebody else did it that probably knows less about World War II than you do. And I'm not trying to sell any product. I'm just trying to, make something cool. So I just got to please myself. Okay. I think that's good. If you go and you find wargaming stuff and it's, there's like a lack of historical gaming stuff here in the United States. You go into Latin America or something like that, there's even less likelihood of finding something historical. You would think, oh, maybe they got like Aztec stuff. Nah, no, they got the same Warhammer crap, except they call it Warhammer or something. They don't go, hey, this place has a rich history. Why don't we have some games about? Nope, they follow the old Warhammer thing. So really unlikely to have a Mexican company that would make historical stuff because, there's a lot of American companies that don't do that kind of thing. I don't know what everybody's. I don't do Warlord stuff, but man, Warlord is so much better than than Games Workshop because Games Workshop just like there's like zero enticement. I like some of their products. I like some of their paints and things like that, but their fluff I couldn't care less about. You go to like a bookstore or something like that in something like Mexico or whatever. They don't even have any like cool stuff I'd be looking about, like the New World or stuff like that. It's only when I went to Spain there was like a shitload of stuff, and it was all in the Spanish language of like stuff I'd never seen before, like Osprey type of things, like really well done. I'm like, no, I resisted buying any of those. I'm like, we're not getting into that right now. I don't have time for all that. Yeah, wedge that joker in there. See, his side's flat. I know that all the rage. I don't know if it's all the rage, but you see it all over the place. It's this trench crusade, trench crusade, trench crusade. I'm like, it's. I don't know. I don't know why there's such an aversion to playing historical stuff. I don't know. I'm not the audience. I'm not the. There's so many cool things that really happened that there's just no need to. I don't feel a need to. A big pull to create some kind of a setting. This is good. Let's put a piece in there. These little vines aren't that big of a deal. Actually, the little spider webs on the 3D printing stuff is a lot more annoying than these vines. Okay. How's this thing doing? Most of them just go up to level 3. I think it's rare to have a level 4 piece. Yeah, almost all of them are just level 3s. It's just enough of a depth to stick some of the palm trees in there. Yeah, let's taper that down there. Let's move this over a little bit. You know, that jagged end that comes in there. Okay, time to move it on up. Like that. And there. And there. Yeah, this one's better there. Here we go. The one thing that I actually had crap out on me a year ago, a couple of years ago, I don't think I'm going to rebuy it. is that hot wire foam cutter. I think I can just get on without it. I don't see a reason to buy another one. I didn't use it much to begin with. Heck, I got it probably 25 years ago. And just it crapped out. I'm not really sure what crapped out, whether there's a transformer on it or something like that. But I don't think I'm gonna be getting another one of those. All right, we need more of this corkage, and unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to use one of these, but that's all right. That's what this stuff is for, is to use it. It's unschedule. I know you guys don't say it. You don't think that's funny because you say it that way all the time. And I've gotten into the habit of anytime I see that word, I say it that way now. And it drives one person I live with a little crazy. But I kind of like it. It just means I'm thinking about you guys. Let's snap this in half. Okay. And then let's do it in half again. And then we use one of those. I think that's enough. Oh, we still got another one to do. Maybe we'll take up another one. All right, this is going to start getting thinner, so let's do something like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's round this off a little bit. Well, we don't usually have a solid piece like this. It ends up being made of a bunch of different ones, so let's just be different and have this one. This one happens to have one that's solid. All right, and I'm gonna put a piece tying these two together, or maybe a little bit longer than that. Okay. There's another one. And the last one. Oh, I didn't add any of the little extras to the side of this one here. Stop it. Not many anyways. We're gonna add one here. And we're gonna add this one here. Now we're good with that. Okay, and last one. Yeah, looks good. There's another reload. I only brought one. I thought I brought another one. Damn it. It's not like we're in any danger of running out of this stuff. Okay. Let's move on up. We're going to be short again. Okay. No problem. That's what this stuff is for. we're gonna have to cut out here for, but I definitely wanted to get this done at least. Let's put it there, overlapping that joint. Okay, and then we've got maybe even better. Yeah, I like that better. There we go. I'm actually gonna leave this here like that. I'm gonna put some little rocks there. It's gonna be like a rocky area. All right, let's go to level 4 on this one. Let's have a tall spot here in the middle. Okay, that's it. So we got our other 4 sets here. Yeah, it's not that tall. Man, I should have like save that for a bit. Whatever, it'll be fine. Let's not get out of control. Okay, so that's the other 4 palm bases. All right, folks. Thanks for.